Father's works. Then she said to him, We are not of... Oh, going too far here. Going too far. So anyway, this is, for those of you that are new here, after the Bible verse, I read my church notes. Notes I make, they're not necessarily what my pastor said. When I do quote the Bible, they're not exact quotes. They're my breakdowns. These are just my person-to-person notes. I kind of, one, take them to spread the message, and two, just to kind of show people how to take notes in church and how to learn. But anyway, engage someone. There is more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. Or if a woman has 10 coins and loses one, does she not light the lamp and rejoice when she finds it? In the same way, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Then, of course, the parable of the two sons. The younger son takes his share of the estate, parties it all away, begins to starve. He returns home to his father and older brother, who has done everything for the farm while he was off partying. The prodigal son states to his father, Father, I have sinned against heaven and you, and am no longer worthy to be called your son. The father welcomes him as an heir with a feast and the finest clothing. The older son is angry. So the father tells him, My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And you can find the true words of all that in Luke 15. Jesus died for the human race. Glory to the King. But, of course, he really did it for the individual. I guess in my case, that includes, I'm not going to name my kids on here, people like Andrew, like Stoney, like Troy, Seth, Cole, obviously my entire family. But literally for all of you individually, it doesn't mean as much when it's just the collective group. But he died for Vinny. He died for, like I said, Andrew. And once you start seeing it as the single person, it makes more sense and it's more heartfelt. But anyway, I've got a ton of clips to show. Probably going to be another bonus night tonight. I like going into bonus time. Bonus time's fun. I'm kind of jealous. I watch Owen Schroyer and his bonus time music. Like I hope he goes to bonus time every night because I love that. I love that little music he plays. I don't know what it comes from. It's from an old video game or something. But anyway, let's get into Israel news. Yeah, I gotta show the regular. Where's it at? Where are you? There we go. Yeah. For those of you that can't see that, every week when I read Israel news, I show the map for the Greater Israel Project, which they're sure in the moves on right now, huh? Anyway. Gotta go all the way to the beginning here. Oh, by the way, silver prices have dropped to $67.94 an ounce. And of course, that would be because the reason it was going up in the first place was the fact that industry needed it. And now, since we decided to go to war with Iran, we're basically cutting off all the AI industry and all the electronics, and basically all industry is being cut off by us getting involved in Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. So it's not going to stay this way. I promise. It indeed is going to go up, but it is at 67.94 an ounce. I'd say it's a good buying opportunity. I'm not an economist. I'm not your money guy. But if I had the money, I would definitely buy right now. Remember when it was up to almost $120 an ounce? Anyway, getting off topic already. See, this is why I write down my bullet points and shit every week, but I want to do it the good old-fashioned way this week. So anyway, here we go. Oh, I'm just going to read the news stories I'm not going to cover with the Iran war here. Let's see. Here we go. Flights at Ben Gurion Airport are being severely restricted. There's discussion of potential U.S. ground operations, and I'll get into that later. So basically, what this comes down to is the state of Israel. I refuse to just call it Israel because then people get it confused with the Israel from the Bible. And I cover this week on week and week and week and week and week. It's not the Israel from the Bible, folks. Okay? Sorry to burst your bubble. Sorry if you've been brainwashed. But the state of Israel is basically not allowing their citizens to leave. Think of that how you wish. Anyway, escalation with Hezbollah in Lebanon. IDF destroyed key bridges over the Litani River, targeting infrastructure allegedly used by Hezbollah for troop rocket movements. Defense Minister Israel Katz ordered intensified demolitions of homes in border villages, explicitly comparing it to tactics used in Gaza. Yeah, they're just pretty much everybody you see on this map right here. Okay, where is Lebanon? Where we got that? I can't see it on there. Well, it might be. That's Egypt. Yeah. So if you can, Lebanon is right here. The entire state of Lebanon is in the Greater Israel Project. So you're going to see it getting the Gaza treatment, of course. They're going to kill everybody. They're going to level it because the Greater Israel Project is soon to be the capital of the world under the New World Order. Anyway, fears of a larger ground invasion or expanded buffer zone in southern Lebanon persist, with over a million displaced reported in Lebanon, and death tolls there surpassing 1,000 from ongoing bombardment. Thought we were going to war with Iran. I guess if you're the state of Israel, that just means you're free to attack anyone in the area because of Hezbollah, another bad guy that they created. And along with us, it's not just them. The United States are part of this, and hence the Jesus, I fought them overseas. How do I not remember their names now? Al Qaeda. Remember Al Qaeda? Yeah, we fund them along with Israel. ISIS, we fund them. Don't you ever notice that ISIS never attacks the state of Israel? Yeah. Hezbollah does because they're supposed to. They're paid to. Anyway, settler violence in the West Bank. Reports of attacks on Palestinian villages, buildings set on fire, and properties damaged, with some criticism of security forces' response. Of course. At least this week, I'm not talking about them killing innocent civilians in Gaza. Hey, there's some good news because they're feeding their bloodlust with everyone else. So thank God the Palestinians get a break this week, I guess. Anyway, let's get into the clips. Hebrew. Oh, this is a fun one. Alright, I don't have the fancy equipment and buttons like everyone else. I actually have to scroll through all my notes and all that. Here we go. So this is why Hebrew translations on X have been disabled. Now, I might have to start and stop it just so I can read it to you. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going to try to blow it up and make it big, but nonetheless, let's watch. Can I turn that? No, it's not going to let me. Anyway, I'll pull you closer. I don't like doing this since I rearranged the TV, but so these were their posts after Trump told Israel to stop bombing Iran, after Trump bombed Iran for them. Donald Trump said, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do it, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. You're the Zionist actor for the United States. You're not president. Every psycho-Israeli. Activate the Joseph Neumeier effect. Death to America. Death to the West. The symbolic bomb in Washington will remind Trump that he is not omnipotent and will restore our national honor. Trump will receive divine assistance if he knows his place and helps Israel. He speaks to the people of Israel in commands like his progressive predecessors. He will lose his historical role. Trump, beware. The doctrine awaits you. Okay, so I got to pull you back over here. The doctrine in this case is the Samson option, which is basically if you decide to stand down and not help Israel when they tell you you have to help them, they just nuke the West. Okay? Whoever doesn't help them, they nuke. That's the Samson option. All right, back to this. Oh, let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's a fun one. We did it some Tuesday in September, didn't we? That's what they say. Yeah, we know. We know that you were complicit in 9/11. It was to get us into war with Iraq for some reason. The terrorist cells created in the U.S. will surely soon begin to awaken, especially if this whole day isn't one big troll. So last week I talked about the Iranian sleeper cells. Maybe it's just those Israeli sleeper cells. Yeah, they might be Iranian, but they're probably funded by Israel. It's another version of the Samson option. Let's see. One Iranian bomb in Washington in an open area. That they're referring to a nuke, folks. Mackay, you should have written that it's time to activate the pager that Bibi gave Trump. Someone's in bed with Qatar. Really? Israel theoretically decides to attack America. What should be the opening? The White House? Silicon Valley? Interesting bases? Man, these people are fucked up, dude. So there's the first one. That's the first little fun clip I have to say. And I find it extremely ironic that on X you can literally translate any language except Hebrew. You know what they say, if the people you can't talk about are probably the ones that control you, right? So who controls X? Is it Elon Musk? Or is it the Israeli lobby? I'd say it's probably the Israeli lobby. Anyway, let's see. The ADL CEO. Where do I have that? Yeah, that's a fun one we'll get into here. Is that in work phone? Good Lord. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a second here. You're not going to want to miss it, I can tell you that. This is what their own representatives are telling our Congress. Live on TV. Come on. Where are we at? Son of a bitch. I knew it was in here. Go back. Okay. I think it was this one. Nope, not that one. Good Lord. Where the hell was it? I threw away that sheet. Oh my, oh my. I'm pretty sure it was Owen. Let me get in here. I'm going to just wing this one here. Sorry if you see clips you're not supposed to see here.
99.8% of the vote. That's totally legit. 100.
Nope,
Just
doesn't
decided
switch
they're not even going to
that.
protect.
Oh Lord. Falling apart here. Nope, already played that one.
They got him a call. I'm cool on that.
Yeah, he ended up dead.
Hell yeah, America has still got their president.
Nope. Well, for fuck's sake.
They'll arrest somebody. Federal surveillance.
No, I'll get into that later, Owen. Oh, well. I done shit the bed on that one, huh? This is probably the most important one about the whole damn thing I'm gonna play. Let me just slow down and look at it quick. Wayfair, surveillance. Well, yeah, that's coming at the end here. Huh. Well, that sucks. Let's get into Trump's actual ultimatum here, I guess. This is from the White House official page on X. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat, or I guess from real Donald Trump too on Truth Social. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Actor President Donald J. Trump. Oh. Hold on a second here. Like I said, I'm doing this on the fly now. Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't even put that one in there, huh? Imagine that. Okay. Netanyahu. Fucking scumbag, dude. Here's a fun one.
Also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan.
Are you serious?
Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice.
Telling us our battle plan,
look
jackass.
As it is today, you have to be blind not to see. that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harping on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of short-sightedness, and do not see the historic period and the historic struggle that we are engaged in now. Doesn't obviate these truths.
What the fuck? Yeah, don't cheat on your wife, folks. They have ways to find you now. Anyway, I found that clip. I found the clip. I just have to do it the old-fashioned way here. And CEO. This is what he thinks needs to happen to us. Or anybody that they label as a anti-Semite.
Educate.
This is what they're doing currently. They're watching everything. About a month ago, I showed you my social credit score according to Grok, my Twitter credit score. That's just a little background information on that. Let's see what he has to say.
Within these pillars, protect, advocate, educate, we are innovating. We are trying new ways to have an impact in the fight against anti-Semitism. So let's talk about what that looks like.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Within the first pillar, protect, not only has the team at the Center on Extremism expanded its ranks with data scientists and software engineers, but we use cutting-edge AI tools to analyze the endless online chatter. And then, when we identify salient trends or material threats, we route them to whomever may need it. Could be journalists, policymakers, and very often law enforcement. Now, I can't talk about all the times we do that. I can't divulge what's happened with every piece of intelligence.
Yeah, it's a direct First Amendment violation, bitch. That's what it is.
That have been averted.
Fuck you.
Serious bad guys.
Oh, really?
Put behind bars all over.
Why do you got some weird shit on your face over here?
And the information generated by Oren Siegel and the entire team on the Center on Extremism, it makes our communities safer.
Oh, does it? For who? For who?
I had someone.
I already told you earlier. Here's what the same guy, Jonathan Greenblatt, says. Anybody identified as an anti-Semite should be.
It won't be solved by the government just throwing money at the problem. It won't be solved by the IDF spokesperson's unit issuing updated talking points or suddenly using TikTok.
Like what is it with these motherfuckers and TikTok?
Strategies to experiment with creative tactics, to study the results and scale what works. Maybe it's a whole new IDF unit, call it 8300, to lead this fight. But we need the kind
8200 is their intelligence agency that spies on people and rounds them up. And, yeah.
We need the kind of courage that executed operations.
But that's in Israel, so this one, 8300, would be here in the United States.
To undertake this mission. This is the kind of ingenuity and inventiveness that have always been a hallmark of the state of Israel, that have always been a characteristic of the Jewish people. I know we can do it.
Yeah, you can, huh?
I don't want to.
Yeah, fuck off, dude. Seriously, just fuck off. Yeah. So this comes from the Health Ranger at Mike Adams at the Health Ranger on X, or at Health Ranger. He's the same thing on Upscrolled. But Trump is going to make journalism a crime in America. This comes from RT. Trump looking to ban top U.S. media and treason charges for fake footage of Iran hitting U.S. ships. New York Times and New York Post confirmed this Iran deadly strike on U.S. ship is real. Yep. I believe that was the Abraham Lincoln. I believe. I don't know. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. But still. So just for posting something like that, they're looking to throw you in jail. They're looking to fine you. Just for posting shit. So anyway, let's see here. Continuing with Israel news. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that part. It's really kind of everybody knows what Operation Rising Lion is. It's the operation that's going now. It's their version of what did we call this stupid fucking thing? Epic Fury. Yeah. Or Rising Lion was in 2025. That was our attack on their nuclear facilities. And Raising Lion is what's going on right now. I'm not going to get into it. But let's get into the Hevara Agreement. Oh, geez, I thought something was off. I'm going to start the music.
Power on. Bluetooth. Pairing.
Forgive me. What are we? Oh my God! Now you're gonna end up. Yeah. Need to turn off Bluetooth real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. That's how you know this show's real. At least you will never see me as an AI. Okay. I'll always tell you what I think is the truth. Play no games. Gator, don't play that shit.
Bluetooth connected.
All right, there we go.
The world was going to end in my lifetime, so I tried to seize every opportunity.
All right. Somebody in the chat, let me know if that's too loud. What is the Hevara Agreement? The Hevara Agreement, also spelled Havara or Transfer Agreement, whatever, was a controversial economic and immigration pact signed on August 25th, 1933, between Nazi Germany and Zionist organizations. Shortly after the Nazis came to power in January 1933, they began implementing anti-Jewish measures, including economic boycotts, asset seizures, and restrictions that made it extremely difficult for Jews to leave Germany with their wealth. At the same time, international Jewish groups launched a global boycott of German goods in protest. Meanwhile, Zionist leaders in Palestine sought to encourage Jewish immigration to build the Yishuv and saw an opportunity to rescue German Jews while circumventing Nazi currency export restrictions. Parties involved: the Nazis, the Zionist Federation of Germany, the Jewish Agency for Palestine, which directed the Anglo-Palestine Bank, I might add. A special company called Havara Ltd. was set up in Tel Aviv to administer the process. How the agreement worked: German Jews wishing to immigrate to Palestine deposited their money in Reichsmarks into a special account in Germany. This money was used to purchase German manufactured goods, such as pretty much everything that the Nazis were making, that they took care of themselves. These goods were then exported to Palestine. Upon arrival, Jewish merchants or the Yishuv bought the goods, and the proceeds were paid to the immigrants. This mechanism allowed immigrants to recover a portion of their assets that they would otherwise have lost entirely under Nazi rules forbidding capital export. It bypassed direct currency transfer, which was banned. Of course, they always find a loophole, don't they? Edomites. ever since Esau broke off on his own. Between 1933 and 1939, approximately 50 to 60,000 German Jews emigrated to Palestine under this arrangement. It transferred roughly 100 million Reichsmarks, significantly boosting Palestine's economy, industry, and infrastructure during a critical period of Jewish state building. For the Nazis, it helped break the international anti-German boycott and encouraged Jewish immigration, aligning with their early goal of making Germany Judenrein, free of Jews. The agreement was highly divisive. Why did it die? Oh, son of a bitch.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing.
Oh, yeah. Many Jews worldwide saw it as collaboration with the Nazis, undermining the global boycott and appearing to legitimize the regime. Revisionist Zionists fiercely opposed it, arguing it prioritized Palestine over broader Jewish rescue efforts and weakened anti-Nazi resistance. Supporters viewed it pragmatically as a life-saving measure. Rescuing Jews and their assets was more important than symbolic protests, especially as Nazi persecution intensified. In modern discourse, it's sometimes misrepresented in conspiracy theories or propaganda as evidence of Nazi-Zionist collaboration. But historians emphasize it was a limited, pragmatic deal born of desperation. Yeah, of course. Grok has to throw that in there or else he'll get in trouble. So, I don't know. Were they working together? You tell me. Yeah, I guess I haven't done this in quite a while. We're already probably going to go into overtime, but where are you? If you want to, if you can't partake in like the Rumble chat or the X chat, I can't look at all that shit. You can text. Where is it? Okay, write this down. You can text, or if you're really feeling froggy, you can call in at 484-82-4669. 484-82-VINNY. You can send a text. There's something you want covered, something you disagree with, and I'll address it live on air. I did it a couple weeks ago. Obviously, if you're just doing rage bait, I'm not going to partake. But that is the Havara Agreement. With that, let's get into Epstein. These may not be brand new releases. Nonetheless, they were brought to my attention. And I always loop in the non-Epstein pedophilia Hollywood or esoteric Hollywood shit. So this is the ugliest part of my show, but nonetheless, so many people have forgotten about it and they don't hardly even cover it anymore. It's pretty alarming. It almost seems like they're a part of it, huh? Of course, the great Harrison Smith, the great Owen Schroyer, they cover it still as it comes. But anyway, let's get into Epstein first. So, let's see. Murder painting. No. There we go. The Epstein murder painting. It's an actual file. Let's see what we got here. Oh. All right, let's pull you close. Okay. Hi, Rich. Jeffrey is asking if you can FedEx the painting
asking if you can FedEx the
here we go.
painting he had made of
Just
the
let him say it.
massacre of the innocents to the ranch. It's the large 9x9 canvas that we had rolled out for him to see in the entryway where they're killing babies. He wants to use it on the ranch and is hoping he could FedEx it to arrive by Wednesday. Thanks, Sarah.
Alright, we don't need the shock and awe bullshit. Oh, cool,
Hi,
dude.
Rich.
Anyway,
Asking if you can FedEx the painting he had made of the
the
massacre of the
file number is, write this down, EFTA 00563164.pdf. I guess I'll read the comment right under that. Why is nobody being arrested in America? I'll tell you why. Because all the people running the fucking country are on it. And I'll get into that in a little bit. It's disgusting, dude. And anyway, while everybody's been lost in the Iran war and whatever fucking TV show you're watching, whatever. So in case you guys needed to know, this comes from Vic at Subtle Boat High. Ghislaine Maxwell list became unsealed sometime yesterday, and here's what happened while y'all were distracted by bullshit. Democratic Illinois State Representative Keith Farnham has resigned and was charged with possession of CP and has been accused of bragging at an online site about sexually molesting a 6-year-old girl. Democrat Harold Moody Jr. was charged with distribution and possession of CP. Child P, you know. Radnor Township Board of Commissions member Philip R. resigned from his position after being charged with possession of CP and abusing children between 2 and 6 years old. BLM organizer Charles Wade was arrested and charged with human trafficking and underage prostitution. Texas attorney and activist Mark Benavides was charged with having sex with a minor, inducing a child under 18 to have sex, and compiling prostitution of at least 9 legal clients in possession of CP. Joe Morrissey, a Virginia delegate, was indicted on charges connected to his relationship with a 17-year-old girl and was charged with supervisory indecent liberties with a minor, electronic solicitation of a minor. Possession of CP and distribution of CP. Congressman Jerry Studds was censored by the House of Representatives after he admitted to an inappropriate relationship with a 17-year-old. Former mayor of Stillwater, New York, Rick Nelson, was pled guilty to 5 counts of possession of CP of children less than 16 years of age. Former mayor of Clayton, New York, Dale Kenyon, was indicted for sexual acts against a teenager. Former mayor of Hubbard, Ohio, Richard Keenan, was given a life sentence in jail for raping a 4-year-old girl. My God. At least some things are happening behind the scenes. You might not see it. And I'm not even saying Trump had anything to do with this. I'm just saying it's nice to see that some of these motherfuckers are getting brought in. At least we have something, right? So let's see what else we got here. Now this one's one that's probably going to get me in trouble. Yeah. Anyway, I told you I reported as I see it. This has a real file number. Don't kill the messenger, okay? If you're still in the Trump cult, well, I don't know what to tell you. Here we go. Epstein files number EFTA 00147661. You know what? Instead of reading it off of a... Let me write this down quick. Oh. 00147661. You know, this might be good for you guys to watch anyway. This is how you get in here and do this. Justice.gov/Epstein. Yes, I'm 18. I wish I was 18. Alright, so we search EFTA 00147661. There we go. So you got to read from the bottom to the top here. From redacted to redacted. On Tuesday, August 27, 2019, myself and Redacted conducted an interview of a purported victim of Jeffrey Epstein, as per a referral by former FBI SA Redacted and journalist Michael Moore, not the filmmaker. The results are as follows. At 1200 hours, a male identified as one Redacted arrived at the C20 office. Redacted said he was unemployed and resides with his mother and her unemployed, morbidly obese boyfriend. Redacted stated he has ingested hallucinogenic mushrooms as well as other illicit substances in the past and currently smokes marijuana. Redacted reported being raped by his great uncle since the age of 5 years old until 22. Redacted described a meeting Epstein at a yacht club in Rhode Island. Of his relatives were members. First at age later. He stated he was sodomized by Epstein in 2000 on a large yacht out of Rhode Island, as well as by former U.S. President William J. Clinton. States the also current President Trump, along with his wife Melania, were present during the said yacht trip in 2000. Trump was not married to his current spouse, Melania, until 2005. Reports while being raped by Epstein and Clinton, he was in a heavy drug-induced state. Stated all of the above incidents were recovered repressed memories until he began therapy sometime in 2016. Offered no supporting or corroborating evidence or witnesses that could be contacted. Appeared to me emotionally unbalanced and not intoxicated. At this time, it is not recommended that any additional investigative resources be expended concerning the claim. From redacted to redacted. Thanks. Redacted. I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. Breeding. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar, but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. He was also raped by George Bush I. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of the True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Yeah. So, if you can trust this person, not saying it is true or not, we're just starting to see a lot of these cases, especially if Trump doesn't do what Netanyahu orders him to do, where you start seeing his name a little bit more often and a little bit more implicated. And it makes you wonder why we may be at war with Iran, huh? Anyway, let's get into Maria Farmer. That was up. No, that's down from that. No. Here we go. Paintings from Epstein survivor Mariah Farmer. You see these? Let me get you closer so you can see this. Let's see what